The latest CDC numbers on the escalation of spectrum disorders and the number of children that are being medicated daily is rising at unprecedented rates. Dr. Robert Melillo has helped thousands of children without medication. That's the key. And I know we've talked to a lot of parents before, and they are concerned about giving their children medication and want to find alternative ways, but not alternative medicine necessarily,
right,
to address this. And it seems like more and more children are being diagnosed
yes,
with ADD and other disorders. Why is that? Is it true, first of all, and why?
Yes, it's absolutely true that it is happening at greater numbers. And we are seeing essentially an epidemic rise of all of these issues. And, you know, we know that medication is an option. And again, it's not that we're against medication, or I'm against medication anyway. It's a useful tool. But what we do know is that it doesn't have any long-term benefit. It's not a solution.
Right.
Meaning it's just managing the symptoms.
It's masking the symptoms.
Exactly. Yeah. And there are potential side effects. I mean, one of the main side effects of stimulants is, after an 18-year study, which is the longest study ever done on Ritalin, two things came out. One is there was no long-term benefit whatsoever, and the other is that the kids were about 2.5 centimeters shorter on average.
Well, and they're not hungry. They can't sleep at night many times. There's a lot of side effects that parents are concerned about.
Their puberty is often, you know, delayed on onset. That's probably why they're shorter. But you know, so again, the idea is not just to have an alternative, but it's about what's the solution to the real problem.
What's causing it to begin with, though?
Well, there's a number of factors. I have a third book that's out called Autism: The Scientific Truth, which it really discusses as about 50 different well-known, well-documented environmental factors. Things like the age of the parents, and, you know, inflammation in the parents, and you know, a number of different environmental factors that come together with some genetic issues. But it's not genetic mutations. That's an important distinction, because people believe that because, you know, these are supposedly genetic, that there's nothing that can be done, and these are lifelong sentences.
We're automatically going to pass it
on. Right. And the fact is, this is not true. The fact is, these are what we call epigenetic, which means that genes are turned off, but they're not damaged, they're not gone. We can turn them back on by manipulating the environment, diet, exercise, and this is what we do in our brain balance centers. And the idea is that, you know, we address the core issue, which is this imbalance, this developmental imbalance in networks in the brain.
And that was going to be my next question. How can we address this? How do you address this with children to go around the medication?
Yeah, well, you know, this is what my book Disconnected Kids is about, and this is what our centers is about. It's about identifying this developmental imbalance between the hemispheres and between networks of the brain. They're not damaged, they're not broken. There's just one side of the brain is really growing at a slower rate than it should, and the other side kind of speeds up. And this creates like ADHD, where we have too much activity, like hyperactivity from the left side of the brain, with lack of attention from the right side of the brain. So we have delayed onset or immature skills on one side with hyperactive abilities on the other side, and this comes together to be OCD or Tourette's or autism or dyslexia, and that's what it is. So creating balance is what we do, and that's the solution.
And it's working for a lot of people. I know that for a fact. In fact, the doctor is going to be speaking tonight at Crestview Middle School in Baldwin at 6 p.m. Seating is limited. You have to RSVP, but the tickets are free. So give them a call at 636-685-0559. And again, the name of the book is Disconnected Kids, right? That's
yes.
the latest one. All right.
Correct.
Thank you so much. Good to see you again.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Still to come on Great Day St. Louis. It's been